Hi, my name's Maud Mosley. My pronouns are they, them, and welcome back to Tunes Tuesday, a weekly series where I interview queer, 2S LGBTQ plus bands and musicians to talk to them about their music, their experiences, and so much more. This week, joining me is New York-based garage pop artist Boy Jr. Thank you so much for being here. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Totally. Thanks so much for having me. I'm Boy Jr. or I'm Erica. Pronouns, I'm cool with she, they, any pronouns. I really wanted to come up with like a fun fact about myself by now. And my favorite kind of way to have eggs is scrambled in a wrap.
That is unique. I will say that is a fun fact. I was not going to expect that that was your favorite way to have eggs. So thank you for
I like to
sharing
keep people
that.
on their toes.
Amazing. Well, first and foremost, I'd love to get into something that you frequently release that I just think is incredibly cool. And that is your cover of covers, per se. You cover a song as if another artist was covering it. For instance, you cover Genie in a Bottle if it was sung by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, or Blinding Lights if it was by the Smiths. Can you share more about your creative process for putting those pieces together?
Yeah. Um, Mostly I do it because it's fun and I've been really enjoying challenging myself to try out different styles, trying to challenge myself to just keep learning production stuff, just be a better mix engineer. And it always just kind of keeps me, I don't know, keeps my brain working about what makes what makes a song really memorable and good, and what arrangement elements are the blueprint for making a style recognizable as that style. It's just sort of helped keep my ears honed. Plus, I love dressing up in costumes and being other people. So,
That definitely is a fun advantage. Do you feel like you have any like key learnings from your experiences making these so far that you'd be like to share with others?
yeah. Um, I think a big part of, like, to both answer like the creative process and also like a big takeaway has been sort of just like sharpening my ears. um I've definitely gotten like allowed myself to get too in the rabbit hole of like trying too hard to like perfectly combine several songs that make up an artist's style. A lot of artists are not known for just one song. And you get people who are like, oh, somebody only listened to their most popular song and thought that that would work. And I'm like, yeah, that is what I did. That is exactly what I did. Um, so I've really tried to make the process shorter so I don't get stuck in these like perfectionist rabbit holes. Um, and I think that has helped me kind of like remain in like a clear path of like, what do people hear when they, what are their big takeaways when they hear like a 1980s post-punk song? And I try to keep it as simple as I can, both for my own sake, so I like can allow myself to continue enjoying the process and doing these things for fun, not big assignments that I like I'm scared I can't finish. um but also because I like to keep it simple, so like it gets like maximum enjoyment. I find that if I get too specific, I don't want to lose people. I don't want to make people feel like, oh, this isn't for me because I don't know music theory slash, like studio talk. So I try to keep it fun in that way, describing the different parts uh, for the feeling they give, and not necessarily like the technical attributes that I like did to make the guitar sound that way. Um, Although I do, like to nerd out and go in depth if I can about like how I made my.
Absolutely. And I would love to talk to you more about like that playfulness and silliness that you can bring into your songs and music. And we'll get to that a little bit later. Because first I want to talk about, you mentioned how you enjoy like the idea of being able to play with different styles and genres, which is why, alongside your covers of covers, you also do these genre bending covers, such as your recent hyperpop covers of Mr. Brightside and Mystery of Love, and your bedroom pop version of Mambo Number Five. Do you feel like experimenting with all sorts of genres through covers has given you more freedom to bring all sorts of styles and influences into your own music?
Totally. I guess that's also a big reason why I can't stop doing these. I just have like too many new ideas. It's been like the most freeing thing. Like having this as an outlet for ideas has been wonderful. I'm like plagued with silly little ideas all the time. And prior to this, it was just like I would put a lot of pressure on myself to feel like anything I make, any idea that I have has one outlet, and it is Boy Junior, the music project. And I hadn't put out a lot of music, and I was really pressuring myself for like, I have to have like the perfect career trajectory. And if I'm going to put out a debut album, it's got to be the most perfectly representative thing of all aspects of my personality. Um, but having like a playground to sort of like get these ideas out on is really helpful and fun. And I think has helped me just like helped grow my musicianship a lot, like a lot more than not having these things would. There's no like unit of measurement for musicianship, but um, I've been very happy to have this as an option. I've been happy to like the rare times I do actually like take a step back and like look at all the things I've made in a year. I'm like, wow, that's like a lot of things. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I definitely have seen it spill over into my original music, which I am slowly but surely also releasing alongside all of the TikTok stuff.
Absolutely. And as you kind of slowly but surely release more original music, are you ever worried that kind of your work with these covers is going to overshadow original music, or do you think they work really well in tandem?
I'm very worried about everything being overshadowed by like the joke content. I am thinking a lot about how I'm going to promote these songs for my upcoming album. The nice thing about like all of this is that by just like getting myself out there more, there's more people who have been like not only interested in the covers, but like that's been a nice introduction into like, hey, here I am as an artist, as a whole person, and I got more to offer than
Absolutely. So it's nice that
get random like strangers to be interested in something that is just like, hey, this is something I made from my soul. I don't know how it'll relate to you because it's not based on anything you've heard before, but it's very important to me, so please listen. I'm trying to come up with ideas for like how I'm going to present these songs as TikToks. Probably going about it by just being like, I wrote a song that I think sounds like if St. Vincent and Glass Animals were stuck in an elevator together. This is what they'd make, except I made it. I don't know how that'll go over, but that is something I've learned from like doing the covers is like, if it's got like a thing people already know, I think they're more interested.
definitely. Yeah. So it's cool to see that this can also just be used as a way to relate to people and bring people in and kind of get their attention. I mean, particularly, we unfortunately currently live in this world where it's like, oh, you want to make art? Impress people on social media every single day, or else you don't get to make art.
Yep.
And it's really unfortunate that we have that, but it's also really cool to see what people and artists like you are kind of doing to take that tool and have fun with it and bring in people that care about the same stuff you do and have fun the same way you do.
Yeah. That is like my like at my core, that's my outlook on just like the internet world and stuff like that. Like I really do enjoy it. And every now and then there's like I'll get comments from people that just like really hit the nail on the head with like, this is why we do these things, and this is why it's good that we have the internet. Because there's of course so much negativity, and like I've had a couple videos that have gotten really popular to the point where like now they're just getting hate comments, which is silly. But it's been really nice when I've gotten comments that are like, wow, here I was like just there's a comment from someone recently that was like, see, this is why I love the internet. I'm just sitting in my house in, whatever, like location that is like far from me in Rochester, New York. I'm just sitting here in this other state, scrolling through like Instagram reels, and now I've found a new artist whose music I really like, and I feel really happy and inspired by something that you made. And I'm like, that's so beautiful. I can't even like wrap my head around it. Like, that's what it's all about. Like human connection and just like having fun wherever you are, whatever your location is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
And speaking of having fun and your original music, one of your songs, Are They Actually Attractive, released in December of 2020, took off on TikTok and was a hit with so many queer people. As, I think we all kind of felt playfully attacked by the song, as it asked us, are they actually attractive, or do they just skate, have tattoos, wear funky earrings, and more of the stuff that kind of, gets our heart fluttering a little bit in really easy ways.
yeah.
And when you released the music video for this song, you mentioned that you'd kind of been hesitant to release the song because it's silly, but you were excited that people enjoyed it. How do you
Yes.
feel now about the song, and potentially on a greater scale, how do you feel about the way that, silliness and playfulness can be brought into music?
I like that question a lot. Um, I mean, with the song, I'm still just like, God, that's so silly. Like, it's the most listened to thing on my Spotify, and I'm like, I'm happy that that something original I made is one of the more popular things, because I don't think it's like an unfair representation of like my artistic like sound. Like, it's a fun song. It's got some quirky production elements. Um, but I do feel so like funny about it because like because I didn't expect it to like blow up or go anywhere at all. I don't think I was very choosy with my like choice of words, or rather like I was choosy in like this syllabic sense, because the words just that like I thought about that concept, and that's how the words just kind of like flowed when I was like, how can I make this into a little melody. But like there I think because it was like a sort of like emotionally incorrect statement, a lot of people were like, that's not how I experience it. It's not a question of whether or not someone's attractive. It's, attractiveness, it goes way beyond physical features. And I'm like, no, I know, no, I agree with like every single person who said any of this. Like, if somebody else made that video, I'd be like, that's silly. Like showing your personal style is what makes someone attractive, or like what can be one of the things that makes someone attractive. But the idea had originally come to mind because I was like, "Oh, you fool! You're so like the folly of man and hubris are your downfall. That all it takes is you see one person with like interesting personal style, and it's not so much that I'm like I'm attracted to that. It's my brain will be like, that's who I'm meant to spend the rest of my life with. I am in love with this person now, and like that's what I'm making fun of because that's what I experience. But attractiveness is the word that came out and then like got passed around, and I'm just glad to see that people like have fun with it, because I'm like, it worries me that it's like I don't want people to think that like my magnum opus as an artist on the whole is like, let's talk about if people are actually physically attractive or not. Like, I don't want that to be what I'm all about. Um, but I do have like a lot of fun with all the things I make, even the serious songs. And now that I'm back to playing some live shows again, and the live shows really are comprised of like my full length original songs. Um, I'm like I'm pretty silly on stage. Like, I'll be talking about a lot of like serious stuff that like I don't know, a lot of the things that I've made in like a really anxious state or really like emotionally distraught state. Not one like super emotionally distraught, but it comes from those like deep emotional places, as art often does. Um, but I can't help but make jokes out of everything. And I hope that's something that kind of ties the whole experience together as I start putting out some of this new music, is that like I don't want to like wallop people with like something that's like like a totally different tone. Like, oh, we thought Boy Junior was like a fun artist. Like, why are you so sad now? I hope that thread kind of ties everything through. That like I'm just having I'm in a wacky, silly mood, you know?
Absolutely. It's nice to have that balance. And I think you were talking about, earlier with the covers, how that kind of has helped you fight that like perfectionism and just kind of have things be fun and work. Do you feel like, being able to bring this playfulness into your original music now also kind of helps with that perfectionism? Because I think a lot of artists get kind of caught in that cycle of the things I write have to be deep and important and, mean something to other people. So do you think like that kind of creates a more balanced outlook on the things you put out by yourself?
Yes, I do. I think having had the experience of making things uh, to post to TikTok and, having the idea reinforced to me that like people do like it when things are simple. People like it when it's just like fun and straightforward. Um, like I think a big lesson that I learned that way was like I really love St. Vincent's music, and like a few years ago I was like, the be all and end all of like music I would like to write is like something with lyrics like Annie Clark's lyrics. I don't know what she's talking about, but it sounds beautiful and it means she's smart. And I want to sound smart. And like Julian Casablancas writes about like a lot of like stuff that sounds like it's political, but it's also pretty like personal and angsty and like it just sounds cool. It flows off the tongue. Um, but then I got really into Knower, and they have some songs that are just like they stick with you on the first listen because the lyrics are straightforward and the music has a lot going on. There's a lot of like angular chords and jazz influence and like Lewis Cole's drumming that's like just like and that just makes you want to like run really fast, but like the lyrics are like butts and tits and money, and I'm like, yeah, I can remember that. um and then making stuff for TikTok, it's just like the simpler the better. People like to hear like little anthems that relate to the things that they feel, and I like to sing little anthems about the things that I'm doing and feeling throughout the day, and it's really fun to share that with people. Um, and I think that's helped me streamline some of my ideas in my songs. Is that like I've allowed myself to say less, like in like the chorus, where it's like that can just be a place for me to like I don't know, just like word vomit a little bit, like whatever will feel good to perform. But not everything needs to be like it's not that deep, you know? Like it can be simple and it can be fun, or it can just be like ridiculous. I feel like actually now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of the songs on the upcoming album are like these choruses are a little bit more quippy. Like one of them is just like, my mother always said that I would be a good therapist. Do you really like me or do you need a therapist? But the verses are a little more like storytelling, like, what are you talking about? Um, a little less straightforward. It's more like, I knew what I was referencing there, but it kind of just comes across like, this is vaguely about a relationship.
Absolutely. And I think that means that there's so much to look forward to. I mean, there's already so much in your discography that people can go check out of everything we've talked about today. But it sounds like there's amazing stuff coming up. Are you able to share any sneak peeks or potential dates for when people can start expecting either more single releases or the album?
Yeah, actually, after this call, I think I'm going to get my next like single and B-side uploaded to my distributor. My plan for the next thing, I have the song Narcissist Baby that I've teased a number of times on TikTok. Um, I'm going to aim to get that out in the world. Maybe I think I'm gonna try for like Friday, November 19th, because I have a show in New York City on November 20th, and I feel like that would be like that's too convenient not to do. It's like single release party. Um, so I liked what I did this last time. Did like a single and B side with two songs that went places on TikTok. The hyper pop version of Mr. Brightside, um, and Simping for the Villain. So it's like they're two pretty different things, but it's a little bit like, hey, something for everybody. I made both these things. I hope that's enough to make it feel like there's something in common with the two songs. Um, and I was like, great, now I'm gonna start releasing things for my album. And then I made this like vent diss track about the last person I dated, um, which is very, you know, quippy and just like poking fun at like man-child kind of boys. Um,
Is this
and
the one where you're like, I'll destroy his PS5?
I mean, for legal purposes, I did not say I will destroy his PS5 because I don't think he even got one yet. But my point with that, it was literally a tweet that I made that I was like, what are you even supposed to say back to someone who's made it so clear that like they don't care about like your or not they don't get the emotional words you're saying, like they don't feel that same way. What can you say back that would like get them to understand what you're feeling? Probably something just like, I hope your PS5 breaks, or I hope you never get a PS5. That's got to be the ultimate diss to somebody like that. And that's my most viewed thing on TikTok. And of course, you know, having that drive to like, all right, maybe I'll make a full version, which is like a good like coping mechanism for the feelings I've been feeling. So plus I got like people were asking for a full version. So my hope is that by doing a single and B-side, Narcissist Baby, my original song, is going to be the first single off my album, Pay Attention to Me. And I hope your chicken nuggies get soggy. I'm hoping that by having both out there, like having the existence of one will get people to listen to the other one. You know, plus I just aim to please, and people were like, full version, please. And I was like, I'll do whatever you want. Yeah.
For sure. Well, that sounds amazing. If you would like to stay up to date with Boy Junior's releases, the fun stuff, the more serious stuff, all of the amazing videos that we've talked about and covers and originals, make sure to check out all the links below to check out what's out there and stay updated. Thank you so much for joining me this week on Tunes Tuesday, and Boy Junior will be playing us out. Even if you're insecure too.